Nothing like a real happy gospel to start the day, huh? What a ringing endorsement of capitalism, isn't it? I mean, hey, Master gave him the money, get out there and invest it, make it work for you. And if we look at this literally, what the Master handed over was 6,000 pieces of silver. Do the math. Silver's selling for $34 an ounce. That's what? $340,000? About that? Now, think about the interest from that time till now. Or see, I'm having a Rick Perry moment. Not the interest, but the cost of living. The difference between then and now. It would have been millions of dollars. And this guy comes back, hey, look at this. I made double. I made double. How many of you in your jobs, if you're business people, how would you like this kind of uber capitalism? Your boss comes to you and says, I'm giving your work group $2 million. I'll be back in 60 days. I want to see 4. Got somebody laughing? Hey, this is gospel capitalism. This is the way it's supposed to work. It's a double return. So, I was all hopped up on that. I thought that was a great idea. And then that doggone John Richards, he sent me a link to an article this morning when I was eating breakfast. It messed up my breakfast. And it's from the Rolling Stone. It's titled, How I Stopped Worrying and Learned to Love the OWS Protest, Occupy Wall Street Protest. And it's by Matt Taibbi, and it was published on November the 10th. And he says, we're all born wanting the freedom to imagine a better and more beautiful future. But modern America has become a place so drearily confining and predictable that it chokes the life out of that built-in desire. Everything from our pop culture to our economy to our politics feels oppressive and unresponsive. We see 10 million commercials a day, and every day is the same life-killing chase for money, and more money. The only thing that changes from minute to minute is that every tick of the clock brings with it another space-age vendor dreaming up some new way to try to sell you something or reach into your pocket. Well, that didn't make my muffin go down any better. Why? Because it's true. And I think this gospel is an indictment of that kind of capitalism. If I want to read this gospel literally, then it's only about money. And it's saying that if I work real hard, I'm going to get what? Even more money. Yay. I love money. Well, I do. Money's good. But is that all there is to live for? It feels that way in this culture. In the culture we're bequeathing to you, it feels that way. And if that's all there is to live for, we are severely bankrupt. I think what this gospel is talking about, it is talking about God's investment in you and in me. Jesus puts it in the terms of capital. But that's a metaphor. I believe the investment that God has made in you and me is this. I can take a breath. I'm alive. I can see you and know you. I can see you and know you. I have life. God has invested me with the most precious commodity this world, this existence has ever known. Living. And what kind of return on that investment am I going to offer the Master when we meet? What kind of return? I hate to keep using Steve Jobs, but he's so handy. Think about it this way. When Steve Jobs was dying, his last albums, did they wheel in a Lisa computer? Did they wheel in the original Macintosh? And then did they wheel in Mac OS X running on a real shiny new computer? And of course, did they set up a nice iPhone so he could see it, and an iPad? Oh, and don't forget, he did have $8 billion, so maybe they hung a few bonds around the room that he was in to remind him of all that wonderful wealth, and so he could be comforted by all that. You think that's the way that man died? Of course not. None of that was in the room. What was in the room with him was his wife, his children, and his dear friends. That's the true commodity of life. That's the investment that God has made in us and has asked us to reinvest in one another, because that means relating with you and you. Because it talks about abundance. And there's conservative Christians that like to take this and say, oh, that abundance means God's going to give you a lot of stuff. No. When I invest in you and you and you, that investment comes back to me. So here's a question for you. What have you done to invest that capital that God has placed in you? What have you done to reinvest that capital that God has given you? And the way I see that working is, have I in my life offered someone meaning, offered someone purpose? Have I been able to fire in another human being their imagination and creativity? That's how I feel I can return on that investment of life that God has given me. See what John Richards did? Matt goes on and finishes this article. And he's talking about the OWS movement. He says, yeah, people on the right, they're saying a bunch of smelly hippies, they don't need, they need a job. Look at them, they're using iPhones and they're criticizing the corporations. But then he does go ahead and he says, and then the people on the left say, ooh, be careful, you're representing us, because they want to own them. The right wants to be as far away as possible. The left wants to own them and make them theirs. Oh, be careful how you do that. Let us help you sharpen your message. Right. Matt finally got it. He said, there was a lot of snickering in media circles, even by me, when I heard the protesters talking about how Liberty Square was offering a new model for a new society with free food and health care and so on. Obviously, a bunch of kids taking donations and giving away free food is not a long-term model for an economic system. But now I get it. People want to go someplace for at least 5 minutes where no one is trying to bleed you or sell you something. It may not be a real model for anything, but it's at least a place where people are free to dream of some other way for human beings to get along beyond auction democracy, tyrannical commerce, and the bottom line. The work we have to do, brothers and sisters in Christ, as Christians, to go out there in that world and to invest the abundance of life that God has given us. Where there is dreariness, replace it with genuine contact, genuine relationship, and love. I'm getting old. We're going to have to leave it up to them, right? Right? We'll leave it up to you guys. You're becoming adults today. We'll let them. No. We can't do that. It doesn't matter how old you are. from this moment, from this breath, from that marker of investment, now is the time to be genuine with other people, to give purpose, to give meaning, and to excite creativity and imagination. We are a great nation. We are by no means over yet. But if we stick to the bottom line, we're over before we even knew it.